Hello, welcome to the 806-411 podcast. I'm Scott Toman, your host, and here with me today is my co-host, Travis Toman. Hello, Travis. Hello. Hey, and this is an opportunity where we talk about some real estate, and we talk about tech sports and just anything that's going on, in town. And today we are so fortunate that we have Jeff and Mudflap and the gang. But part of the gang's not here, but welcome Jeff and Mudflap from KLLL.
Good welcome, Scott, Travis. I hope you're having a good day.
This guy.
We've never been on radio.
He's a natural on the microphone. Yeah.
I've spent years. Where's the camera?
Oh my goodness! I knew this was going to be fun.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a good time.
You're gonna. It's fun now. You're gonna be suffering from a lot of regret very soon. So.
Think I'm gonna be
Jeff has to put up with me for a long time. So.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh my
many
gosh.
years. Yeah.
Well,
how long has it been?
Oh my gosh, this 17 years about.
17 years. Yeah. He started a few months before, but I'm going 18 years in May, so I guess
as
17
far as
and a
the
half
show.
years. Oh, the show. Oh,
if
the
I
show
started
was.
before you on the show,
Well, yeah.
there's no way you could be on the show.
Math was never my thing.
Yeah.
So
man, we learned
I never said I was good at math. 1 + 1. No, I'm just kidding.
We get to learn a lot from you guys in the mornings.
Yeah, well.
Hey, the table's a little changed here this time.
It is.
Normally, I'm there at the station. You're asking us questions.
I know this kind of freaks me out. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I feel out of control because I don't know what's happening.
You're not back there and you can't control
yes,
the music
I'm
and
usually the one
else.
running this stuff, so I'm kind of out of my element. So if I'm fidgety, that's probably why it is. I'm looking for buttons to push, and there's nothing.
Yeah, Jeff's been the quarterback for so long. He just runs that, and you don't think much about, running the board and stuff. And every time when he's gone for vacation, I'm just like, holy cow, what the? And then you got to time stuff, and it's like, then you're like, math, like I said, it was not good. So then I'm trying to switch the things and go.
The great ones make it look easy, don't they?
You do. You're very good.
That's a lot of multitasking.
Yes.
I mean, I've been in there before, and it's just like, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? How did you do that?
Done it for a
she's
long
got a little
time.
music over there. She can play for us every once in a while.
I like music.
Yes. See?
Oh, wow.
There we go. Perfect.
Got any show tunes over there? That's what Mudflap really enjoys.
Tunes, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How about Halo? You got a Halo? Oh, yeah, really. Well, maybe not a Halo. Okay, it's hard to see.
Yeah, no,
that wasn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget that
dramatic
Mudflap can sing.
He can sing, actually.
Yeah.
That's he really can sing, and people are always shocked at how well he sings. He sings the national anthem around town a lot at different events and things, and so
Yeah.
When I first got with KLLL, I wanted to kind of just make myself not known, but just I kind of wanted to get out there and just kind of meet people and different things, and so I was shaking everybody's hand. I was just going around meeting everybody. So I thought, how can I do this? So I'd sang in a band for 5 years.
What band was that?
A band called the Convertibles. It was a 50s rock and roll band. Listen, that's a whole
gosh,
nother
I didn't know you were
podcast.
near that old. You were big in the 50s?
I was big in the 50s.
Did you ever meet Elvis? Wow, that's cool.
Yes.
Where would y'all play at? Did you play like at the Spoon?
You know what
or
we
something?
did? We actually played at Texas Tech one year. And
Like a cover band?
It was
or
like
like
no, this is cover.
Okay.
Just do original 50s music. Gotcha. And so we would just do all kinds of stuff. But we traveled. We weren't. I would dare say we weren't like a house band, but we weren't like a garage band either. It was just
You actually traveled on a bus.
Yeah, we had a Greyhound bus. We headed to Russia, to the Philippines, to Japan, to Canada. So we traveled around a whole lot. And anyway, we would do the 50s covers tune, and people loved it. People would just be like, yeah, let's have the 50s, because they wanted to have those sock hops. Woo! It's gonna rock this boat around the clock, And
Okay, that wasn't his best voice.
You can imagine how great the show was.
It was a small bus.
that was my. We wrote it. Yes.
And pushed it and pulled it.
Pushed and pulled it. No, we were actually. What's funny with the bus is that we all had to have our CDL license. So we had to each take turns to be a CDL driver, because we didn't have a driver. We'd all just, the guys would just take turns riding the
So
bus.
you weren't that big.
No.
So you didn't have your truck.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. We were like in between something. I don't know what. But anyway, so then we just travel around and do our thing. Traveled all over the country.
What about you, Jeff? Ever?
Did you travel?
I always wanted to be in a band because I play drums, and that was always my first dream.
And he's a very good drummer.
Was to be a drummer in a band. We always talk about someday we need to have a morning show band. Yeah. But Colleen, who's on the show with us, she's actually holding us back because she doesn't really play an instrument, and so that's really it's her fault.
You're gonna get it for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It'll be fine.
Oh, it'll be fine.
Let's not tell her about this whole thing.
No,
okay?
I won't. Yeah. I won't.
Anyway, but I want to be in a band, and so Mudflap actually lived my dream, So I live vicariously through him on that, I guess.
Yeah.
But
a lot of us do, by the way.
Right? Yes, I think most people do. Yeah, Mudflap's got the greatest job ever. 3 hours a day, golf all the rest of the day. I mean, it really is awesome. But no, so I just got into radio when I was 16, and never. I still play drums at home just for, recreational drum playing, I guess. But my mom, one summer, she was like, you're going to get a job this summer. You're not going to just lay around again this summer. I was like, okay. I thought, I'll outsmart her. Radio, that would be easy. I sit in an air-conditioned room, play music. How hard can that be? So yeah, that's
Here you
kind
are.
of that. Yeah, and the rest is history. So, yeah.
I remember a lot of times there's people in your studio that your guest, famous singers, come in there and you kind of have a little sing off, or y'all sing together. I mean,
we have had some people sing.
Yeah, we've had who's been. I mean, we've had over the years. There's some of the guys because I know it depends. There's some that have actually come into the station who braved the possibilities of all that could happen there. Some have only been on the phone. But like Richie McDonald, a lot of people around Lubbock certainly know Richie. Graduated from Coronado, and he's been in Nashville for a lot of years.
I'll tell his story real quick. So
he's been in with us, and
he came in the front door, and the very first time I didn't know who Richie was, and so I just gotten, and I usually just greet people at the door. So I go out the door, and I was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" I mean, that was nice, but I was like, "And you are?" He's like, "Well, I'm Richie." That's cool. I was like,
Richie, I'm Mudflap.
Yeah, and I was just like, and then it just started to dawn on me who this guy was, and I didn't realize, as an artist, I mean, usually, we know they're coming in, but he just kind of had an open door policy. We just let him in the studio whenever he wanted to come. Yeah. And so anyway, I'm sitting there stopping him at the door. You can't go any further. No, I didn't do that.
No, we had probably the most famous person that we've had, but it was on the phone. We didn't come in, but when Garth was here a few years ago, and we had him on. That was really cool. We have a thing that we've done for years to where we always we do a lot of interviews and things, but we'll always ask these guys, what is the last thing you bought? And because it's really fascinating, because you think these big stars, are going to ask, well, let's see, I bought a yacht yesterday and a new home in Vail. And it's crazy how many times it ends up being something just everyday stuff. So Garth Brooks, the biggest, not just country, but I mean, one of the biggest music stars on the planet. So it's, hey, what's the last thing you bought? And he goes, last thing I bought. Well, last night I bought a Subway sandwich. And I'm thinking, wow, you're Garth Brooks. You didn't have somebody bring you food. I mean, it was crazy to me that was the last thing he bought. But we've had everything from Lady Antebellum. They bought a ping pong table the night before when they were in Lubbock performing. So they went to Walmart and bought a ping pong table so they could play backstage. Yeah. So I don't know. There's been all kinds of interesting stuff. One, I'm trying to think who it was, bought like a pack of gum. I mean, it's just you never know, but it's always fascinating to ask him that question. So
let me ask you all this: well, I know he does some crazy things.
Yeah, please don't Google me.
I told you got to keep it PG.
What do you mean? What do you mean by Google?
Hey, the other morning you were talking about Shania Twain, and so I sat there and I Googled, y'all were talking about something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I was totally sure her album cover, she said she's topless and yeah.
And you said, right now, I bet you there's hundreds of men out there Googling it. I'm at a red light. I'm Googling it. I was like, golly, he just called me. Yeah, how do you know I was doing that, man?
If it makes you feel any better, before we, got on the air with that story, I had read that, and what was I doing? Oh, I got to check that out. Just for the sake of the show, I need to see what the heck that is. But it wasn't near as good as what I was expecting. So
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No,
I did not Google it at all.
That's right. Yeah.
Babe, I love you.
But I know you've done some crazy things. Tell us a couple of crazy. One of the things I remember, and it was the first time I've ever heard of Mudflap. I think it was that parking lot right there behind where oh my goodness gracious, where Pets Plus is. You were up in like in a big old crane or something, a big old bucket, and you're up there with shorts on.
Well,
that was it, and it was
a lot of times. I mean, some of it just kind of goes through. At that particular time,
Could you be a little more specific?
Did I have clothes
Surely
on?
he remembers that. Maybe you didn't have clothes on.
I did. No, a lot of times we do like for promotions
Yeah.
for different people, different things, and so they'll want us to do something kind of crazy, and so anyway, it just draws major attention, and they raised me up in a big crane, and there I was.
Great story.
And then
You don't remember that at all.
That was back in the 50s.
that's child's play. Let's tell a real story.
The one thing we've never done is, and this is where when Mudflap when we first started working together, he was on one of our other stations doing the overnight shift, right? And he'd said, hey, listen, if I ever get a chance to be on the morning show, I mean, I'll do anything, man. I'll do the crazy stuff. You can duct tape me to a telephone pole. And I always thought, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So at that time, we didn't have an opening for someone like him on the morning show. So, but when it came about, I thought, ooh, that's that guy that said he'd duct tape himself to a telephone pole. That could be interesting.
You forgot
all
the most
these
important
years, we
part.
haven't even done that. What was the most important part?
I said I'd tie myself naked to a telephone pole with duct tape.
Naked.
Yeah, I guess that did. Now you know why we haven't actually done the promotion. So one of these days, though, we are going to
do that?
We're going to do that.
Good.
So, yeah.
I'll be arrested.
It'll be worth it. Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah, it'll be worth it for sure.
Yeah. What are crazy stuff?
I think one of the best things
Brazilian live on the air was a
is
good one.
when we did the race to 50.
Oh, that was
And so that we had everybody, we had a promotion with, I think it was some travel agency here in Lubbock. And so I was going to touch all the 48 continental
Contiguous states,
Yes. And so people had to guess how long it was going to take me to touch these 48 states. And so if you could guess it, whoever got the closest would basically win a prize to either you got a choice of Hawaii or Alaska. So anyway, so they started this out. And so anyway, I remember starting off from Lubbock and going to Dallas and then flying all the way, I think it was out to Seattle. And then we started all the 50
So you got to
states.
do all of
trains,
this.
trains, buses.
And the
But
travel
taxis.
agent paid for this? Agency?
Well, yeah, I mean, because they had booked this whole thing, and so part of the whole part of it was just, hey, we can book you to Seattle, we can book you to Chicago, we can book you to L.A., to Disneyland, to Disney World. Oh, look, you could go over here. So, and it kind of fit in right what I had done, with the band traveling around because because we had been to those states. And so I was able to just kind of remember back a little bit of how we travel. Of course, when you travel in a band, I don't know if you guys know this, when you travel in a band, you sometimes, and I'm not kidding, you kind of forget where you are.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, when they really say,
Good evening, Detroit.
Yes.
We're Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
That's it. But you get out of like a movie theater or a mall and you go, and it starts to all kind of look the same.
Yeah, I bet so. Yeah.
Anyway, but it was really cool to, to have people kind of guess and follow along. And so I remember, finishing up at Disney World. And when I finished up at Disney World, I was so tired. I mean, I was at Disney World, for crying out loud. And I was just sitting there on a bench. Someone came up and was like, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, thank you." I mean, but I'd been traveling. It is so exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
That I was just so tired of I don't even want to, I'm ready to be back home.
Wasn't it the train that was the worst of all the things you traveled? Have you ever traveled by train anywhere?
Not a long distance, just
I haven't
from
either,
like
just
New Jersey to New York type of
Yeah, I mean, I've done like the train up in Colorado, Durango to Silverton, just tourist kind of train kind of thing. But
Hindsight's
that was-
2020. I wish they'd have had me like a cab, but they had me on a bus or a train. I'm sorry, and so here I was on a train just traveling for days.
Yeah.
And so and people, they would start arguing with each other. People were on drugs.
Yeah.
People were bothering you all
just
the time.
talking to themselves.
Yeah, they would. I mean, and it was just really, it was really pretty. I mean, it was a great experience. But and you could walk up to the other part of the, the train and get some food and different things. And then, but I kind of wish I had a place to sleep. I was just sleeping on that.
You weren't traveling first class.
No, I was not.
Yeah.
No.
You've been on a bunch of trains, haven't you, Trav?
I love traveling by train.
Really?
But I haven't, I guess, done it in the States, mainly in Europe, and I think the trains there are a little nicer.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
Wow.
Right there, yeah.
We traveled on a train from St. Petersburg, Russia to Moscow.
Wow.
And it was the nastiest thing ever.
Really?
I'm not saying those were not, but that was gross.
I didn't go on that
I
one.
was like, ew, I'm not using the restroom. I'll wait. It was
I
bad.
rode the train at Six Flags once. that was real neat.
Out here in Joyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Yeah, just a little bit, right? Actually, we were on a plane from, I think it was Moscow to some other place in Russia. It was the same type of deal on a plane, man. It was just so dirty.
It was nasty. I remember when we landed in, of course, it was Leningrad at the time, and it's changed the name to St. Petersburg. But I remember landing in Leningrad and going, wow. I mean, it was just it was cold, and we just traveled along the runway all the way, and I was thinking, am I in a safe spot here? I don't know.
Right.
So
Like you didn't land in the gulag or something.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you all this. Do you have any questions for us about real estate? Anything that's ever come across your mind, like, man, we forgot to ask Toman that, or Travis that, or
What is real estate?
No. What is this
travel
real estate
across on
you
a
speak
train.
of? How long?
I want to know. I want to know. I get to go first.
Okay, you first.
I blurted out first, so I win.
Oh
No, I want to know in Lubbock, just as a layperson, that doesn't know anything about real estate. It seems like there's a million houses being built
Yes.
for years, a million, and they're selling them. And or is it because people are just upgrading, or is it this many people really moving into town?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, it's amazing. What Lubbock has done a good job at doing is controlling the permits that they've allowed out there for the builders. So they haven't really just overbuilt. I mean, it might look like it to y'all, but it's
Yeah.
really not. I mean, they're still selling those like hotcakes. Yeah. I mean, right now there's about 1,000 houses on the market, I think.
Yes, just over 1,000.
Really?
When we first started
That's
this
crazy.
podcast, there was 300. And that's how things have changed. I mean, the rates have gone up. Like today, I think it was 7 and
Mm-hmm.
7
Above
and a quarter,
7.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
which it's still not crazy, but it's a lot higher than we were used to a year and a half ago. It was 2.25,
Yeah,
2.75. So one of the shows earlier we were talking about, there's a phrase that goes around that date the rate, marry the house, because the rate's always going to come back down. So you find the house that you like, that you want, buy it, stay in there, and then refinance it later. Because that house may not be your dream house that next time.
And it's
Buy-
just
buy
crazy
when
how
you
much
see it,
Lubbock
right?
is growing, too.
Yeah.
We spoke with John Osborne last week, and he's an economist for the city of Lubbock. And he mentioned that the new home permits in Lubbock is if you have Amarillo and Abilene and combine them, you can double it, and Lubbock still has more.
Wow.
So it's
Isn't that
just
something?
wild.
What if I was going to buy a new house right now? Are you better off trying to buy a brand new house, like new construction or something, or a custom home, or is it better to try to find an existing home? Is there any difference at all of that? Does it just come down to what you want?
Just
or
what
is
you
there any
want,
advantages
Really,
one way or the other?
it just comes down to what you want.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, but you go back to an older house, you're going to get bigger rooms. Might have smaller closets, but you're going to have bigger rooms, bigger living rooms, whatnot. And now the cost of goods have just gotten so high, they can't help but build a house for $150 to $200 a foot. And that's what's crazy around here too, though. That the neighborhoods that we used to sell for $90 a foot, they're going for $130 a foot. Like,
Really?
wow, it's crazy. But
What areas? I know now. Here we go. You said, do we have any questions for you? Here we go. Well, good morning. It's 7:20. We've got.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be asking him questions.
No, but like around Lubbock, there's all the new construction. Southwest and south and north. I mean, there's so many areas where there's homes going up everywhere. But when it comes to like the existing homes in Lubbock, like the traditionally, nice neighborhoods, especially inside the loop. What are those homes still desired? Is like if you're selling those homes and people. I mean,
definitely
trees and that sort of thing. I mean, people love trees. Like we had a house that the people backed out at the last minute because they decided I want trees like we have in Austin. But I mean, holy cow! I mean, well, you're looking in the wrong place because they're looking way on the southwest side of town.
Yeah, if you're in Lubbock, the last thing you want is something like Austin. Maybe the trees would qualify, but
that's about it.
Right. For me,
that's about it. Yeah.
I'm just curious how long you guys have been in real estate and why you got into real estate.
So I got my license in 2017, and I was selling in Horseshoe Bay, which is outside of Austin, and I've been back here for 2 years now, and just loving it.
Good.
So I've been doing it for since 1999. I wish I would have started when I was even younger than him.
Yeah, I wish I would have started when I was 18.
Yeah, there's some young kids that come by the office that are 19, 20 years old, full-time students at Tech, getting their license. I'm like, man, I wish I would have been that driven. But I was getting drove backwards, by 300-pound guys at that time.
That's true. Yeah, that's a little bit more on your mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny though when you're, you go to college and when you're young like that and there's all that pressure. I mean, now they put pressure on kids like in elementary school about start thinking about college and what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
right.
And even by the time you get to college, you think maybe you know what you want to do, but then you get into it and start studying that and you think, I don't know. And
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to live some life and experience some things before you really understand what it is you want to do, I guess. Yeah.
I'm kind of a believer. Take a year off. Go see if you can figure out what you want to do. Like Travis was fortunate enough that he belonged to a couple of groups that he got to travel all over the world. And so he was a lot wiser than most kids coming out of high school, getting out into the real world.
Yeah, I grew up in Lovington, New Mexico, and came straight to Lubbock, so my wisdom was somewhat limited, I guess. So
Yeah.
Never traveled the world, that's for sure.
I've often said that people should travel to another country, to somewhere else, just to get an appreciation of what it is like here in the States and back home, because you get a whole different perspective when you go there.
Definitely.
We were so lucky.
Yep, we are.
So I guess you've been to all 50 states. What would be your favorite?
Ooh,
I know it's a tough question.
Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a lot. West Texas, I'm not going to lie. I've lived in Orange County. I've lived in Gwinnett County, Georgia. I've lived in Oklahoma, Tulsa. So I've seen a lot of different things. Lubbock, honestly, I really wouldn't want to be.
Really?
I love, because as the older I get, man, it's about relationships. It's about people, and I love it here. And I just breed off of it. So, but as far as looks go, aesthetics and different things like that.
Wow, aesthetics. Wow, nice
I
word.
know.
He's getting a lot more mature.
That's impressive. Wow.
The long I was worried about him saying a cuss word. Now
That's amazing.
Oh, I thought you were taking a picture. I was going to pose. Anyway, but I think, there's different spots. I mean, obviously my favorite spot in the whole is Lajitas, Texas. I love it down there. I
don't even know where that is.
It's got to be by the border.
It's right on the border
river
of Mexico, and I love Lajitas. There's nothing, but it's beautiful. The mountains are kind of different. They're not like a Colorado mountains or a Wyoming or Montana mountains.
Right.
But they're a different kind of mountains, and it's
Like a desert mountain.
Like a desert mountain, right?
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. The sunsets, and at night I go out and I go out at like 2:00 in the morning, and I'll take a look at the stars and just it's.
Is that down by Big Bend?
That's down by Big Bend. Yeah. And I just love it out there.
It's
And
a
I don't know
golf
why.
course.
Yeah, there's a golf course. Of course.
Yeah,
there's a
there's
golf
Okay,
course.
now I know where he's
Now you know why he's down there. Yeah.
He's done looking at the mountain.
I always feel like
And he's not looking for his golf ball either, because he hit it straight.
Right, yeah, that's true. No, I always feel like living in Lubbock is, because people that don't live here, they come in here and go, oh my gosh, desert, trees, man, and they just don't understand. But when you live here, you come to appreciate first of all, the sunsets, the wide open spaces, and people just aren't on top of each other everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you go somewhere in a big city where there's people everywhere, it's like claustrophobic, And so sometimes I think you forget about just how wide open things are here.
Yep.
And when you go visit somewhere else, to me, I always feel like I have more of an appreciation of going places and see, like especially going to the mountains or something, it's so beautiful and you can really take it all in because it's so vastly different from Lubbock.
Yep.
But every time, so I feel like I appreciate things more when I go visit places. But when I come back, there's just that feeling. It's like, man, I tell you what, this is really beautiful here.
Yeah.
And people that don't live here, they don't get it, and that's fine,
Yeah.
Travis, you might, since you've traveled some, you might recognize this, but I think the most underrated spot might be like North Carolina.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
I went to Asheville.
Yeah,
I
just think that's
beautiful.
a beautiful place there in Pennsylvania. It's just the green and the kind of rolling mountains. I'm just like, God, this is beautiful. I mean, and I don't think as growing up, I didn't know that. And as I traveled, I was like, wow, this is really cool. It's just lush trees everywhere. It's really nice.
You don't have to go outside the country to see beautiful stuff.
No, you really don't.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago when we were playing UT, some of my buddies came in, and one of them just popped off and says, "Why you live here in Lubbock?" He's coming from Austin. Beautiful trees, blah blah blah. I said, "Man, it's once you get here. I mean, I went to college here. I stayed here. Been here now for 40 years, and it's just it grows on you, like you say. And the people are nice.
Yeah.
I know you hear things, different sides of different things, but I mean, it's like that everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's crime going on everywhere.
Right.
And I think it helps that, I mean, we're kind of out front where everybody can see us and know us and that sort of thing, like y'all are, and that helps too, But I don't think I'd go anyplace else right now.
Well, I love it because it's whatever you want it to be. If you want to be in a small town where you know people, then it has that feel. But if you're somebody who wants to be somewhat anonymous and just live your life, it's big enough, especially now, to where you can still live that way as well. So to me, it's got the best of both worlds. There's plenty of things to do, but you can also just kind of have that small town feel as well. So.
I agree with you, Bob. I mean, Jeff. I'm sorry.
And you would be who? Yeah,
Tom. Yes,
I've heard of you. Yeah, aren't you on the radio? Yeah, I listen to you all the time. Yeah, you and that bald guy, I think, right? You're funny. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah.
You guys are really a lot of fun in the mornings, man.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of times I'm driving to the gym and I forget to turn on the radio, but then I'm like, oh gosh, I got to listen to these cats, man.
It's always
I got to admit, I always imagine you guys just in their PJs, and, on Valentine's Day, him wearing
nothing
some big
sexy, right?
Oh no!
All right.
Oh hell!
Listen, keep your fantasies to yourself.
Not the video for
Can we scratch that last statement? But I mean, you guys are just hilarious.
No,
man.
we just get in there and just have it's funny because we just get in there and just talk about. We just try to talk about things. Like we always imagine it's just like if you get out of bed and and your family and you're sitting around drinking coffee or whatever and starting the day and just shooting the breeze about the things that are going on. That's just kind of how we try to be. And we try to keep it pretty positive and upbeat because there's enough stuff in the world to worry about right now. So we figure if we can get in there for 3 hours and just goof around and laugh. And I mean, there's some mornings we get off there and go, God, we were stupid this morning. But we just figure, you know what? If it makes people laugh and smile for a few hours, they can get on with their day, and there's going to be plenty to be serious and stress out about.
Yeah.
We don't want to be any part of anybody's stress and serious stuff. We just
over the years, and Jeff can attest this. The people, when they meet you for the first time, it's like, oh, you're Mudflap. I'm like, I know it's disappointing, but they think I'm 3 feet tall and 10 feet wide. I mean, where's your pickup? No.
Yeah, it's funny. It's when you get this one. It's like you don't look anything like what you sound like,
right?
And then you're like, okay, well, like is that?
That's deep.
What do I sound like?
Yeah, it's like, dude, are you surprised? Is it better than expected?
Right.
Or I mean, you never really know what that means. It's just like, oh, Thank you.
You don't look anything like I thought you did either. I don't know what to say.
I went to one time. I had to go to a wedding, and I'm sitting in the seat, and a lady walks up to me, and she goes, "Mudflap, oh, I listen to you every morning," and it made me feel bad. I didn't have the heart to tell her that I wasn't Mudflap because she was so excited for that big moment. And I was like, "Oh yeah, well, thank you very much." You know, she, "Oh yeah, gosh, at that time you did that thing." You know, it just going on and on. And I was so deep into it at that point that I thought I can't really say anything. So I was like, "Well, listen, it's great to meet you. I'm going to tell Jeff how excited was to meet you and all." And so anyway, you have a big fan out there.
So.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
wow.
very disappointed.
Hey, before I let y'all go real fast, how did you get the nickname Mudflap?
Well, Big Bird was taken.
Copyright issue.
Yeah. I don't own those rights. No, when Jeff probably could answer that a little better, but I can answer it. But I think Jeff would probably be better suited to doing that.
Oh, I thought you were really good. No, I wasn't kidding.
When we were coming up with the morning show, I before I got into full-time radio, I was known as the coach. I wanted to be a basketball coach. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a girls basketball coach and just do the best I could there. And so
he won 2 national titles with homeschool girls, by the way.
That's awesome.
So anyway, I love basketball. Basketball is like my passion. So when we were forming this morning show, they were like, well, started talking. I wish there was some big thing, like, oh, well, you grew up with Mudflap. But anyway, they wanted to have the name Mudflap, and I was
we just wanted a character.
They wanted
just create a character that people would, it was
to.
memorable and it was fun.
Joke about.
Yeah. Somebody who could be
it's stuck with me for this long. So.
Wow.
It's always kind of like the like in a great sitcom. If you look at any great sitcom through the you can go back through the 60s or something. You had Andy Griffith, kind of the straight man, and Barney was the the character, and then all the characters around Andy, and he's sitting there trying to keep everything under control. Right. And then you go to like Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, kind of the center of the universe. But you had Kramer, and Mudflap's kind of my Kramer, and so all the sitcoms always have that. There's always the guy who's kind of the voice of reason and kind of the anchor of all this craziness and trying to keep it all under control. Yeah. And it's kind of that idea. So I'm kind of in that thing. I would be kind of like Jerry Seinfeld. Mudflap is Kramer. Colleen would be Elaine. And so it's just that dynamic of just of just character.
Yeah. I'm thinking more Skipper and Gilligan.
Yeah, that's another great example of just all great shows just have kind of that. Have that formula. Yeah, see?
Too.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out today and to come and join us.
No problem.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're kind of like you. We like to just sit around and kind of BS and stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on the 806-411 podcast. And folks out there listening, thank you very much for listening. And if we can help you in any buying and selling needs in your real estate, please come see us. The Scott Toman team. And by the way, Mudflap.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for everything you do in the morning show, but thank you for this.
There it is.
Team sold another one.
I was wondering if I saw that bell. Yeah, glad you did that.